Okay, so my name is Abby Razor, and I'm an instructional technologist with CTE, and I'm also an administrator of D2L. So we do talk about D2L basics. So we are going to cover briefly homepage widgets, content, briefly on the gradebook. At the end of the slide deck, there are resources for the gradebook, or you can use SIU's 24/7 D2L support if you really need to deep dive into the gradebook. And also assignments, quizzes, and exams. Attendance, you can do it with D2L, but we have a video for you that you can watch if you need to know more about that. So I'm just going to stop sharing for a quick second so I can reorganize my screens. And I've got my counterpart, Leticia Velasquez, to monitor the chat. So if you have questions, you can type, come off mute, whatever suits you, since we're a small group today. So this is a demo course of mine. And so this is what a blank shell would look like in D2L when it doesn't have information in it. And if one of you could give me a hey or a thumbs up that you can see this. Leticia, I'm working to unmute you. Just give me one quick second to bring her back to life. Thank you for your thumbs up. Awesome. There you go. Leticia, you should be all set now. Okay, so in order to, this is the instructor profile where you can put your picture and your name. You can put office hours. You can put likes and dislikes if you like dogs, hate cats, what to do if you're really having a problem in the course. So you'll just come here and click configure this widget, and then you get all these choices where you can put your information into that. So I'm just going to say cancel. And then also, we have resources for SIUCs in every course. So this is standard. So it tells them how to get help from SIUC to CARES, how to get help from the tutoring center, Morris Library, and also the syllabus attachment, which I believe we've updated. Leticia, you can nod yes or no. It's not updated yet, but we promise that we are working on it. I think are we waiting for the provost? Yeah, we are waiting on the provost. So as soon as we have the content for that, we will put it in the widget, we promise. And then next thing to talk about is announcements. So this is a course that already has material in it. So you can see instructor profile widget all done. So if you click here, you can show all of your announcements. And then you get some choices. You can make a new announcement. So I'm going to do that real quick here. So just test and say test. Then you can put a start date and end date. You can record a short video if you wanted to do like a course introduction, something of that nature, just a quick hi. You can have release conditions if you only wanted some students to see it and others not to see it, that sort of thing. So I'm going to go ahead and say publish. And then the other thing that you can also do here, you can pin it to the top, and you can also reorder them, or if you accidentally delete an announcement, you can restore it, that sort of thing. And just to re-emphasize the deleting portion, you just click it and click the little trash can there. So the next item is widgets. So if you go into course admin, which I get is a little scary, you can find widgets. And forgive me while I read all of the things that are here. I always forget where everything is. There we go, widgets. So when you're here in the widgets, we have widgets that are there for you, but if you want something else, you can create your own widget. So I'm just going to give my widget a name and then do that. And if you want the widget to have content, you can click here and you can put any type of content that you want. So I am just going to do insert stuff. And let's see, what do I have? So I have this AI picture of a Saluki that I'm going to put in the widget. So there's that, and you just click upload. And I'm just going to overwrite the existing file. I've used this course before. So one thing is alternate text. We are focusing on accessibility this semester, so I'm just going to put AI image of Saluki dog. And then you can look at what you got and then say insert. Oh, and link text is required. I'm not sure why it wants that. It may not behave. There we go. So there's my widget. And if I save and close, then in the custom widgets, my test widget is there. So then in terms of getting that on the course homepage, if you go back to home, you can come down to the very bottom to these three obscure dots, and I'm going to go ahead and say edit this homepage. I've already made a copy because I've used this course before. So if you need to make a copy, you can do that under manage. So then all I have to do is come here and say I want to add a widget, and then scroll down to test and say add. And then just by extension, if you click the X, that means you're removing the widget. So save and close. And then there is my widget. Oh, that's my announcement. Sorry. There's my widget. That'll teach me to name things test all the same. Are there any questions before I go on and talk about content? Any questions in the chat, Leticia? Okay, good deal. So for the content of your course, this course already has content in it, and I think this is a new feature in D2L where you can now search for different content that you have. So basically you get levels of content. You get this first level and then the second level. So you can make a new unit to get this top level. And then when you want to add content, so if I wanted to come in here to these introduction materials and add content, I would say add existing and then browse for the file that I want to add. And one of the things is this is a PDF file, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. And then once this is uploaded, read speak will appear here with this little speaker. So I don't think I can actually show you, but you should check to make sure that all of your PDFs actually have the listen function and that's working. If you have a document that you've uploaded and it's not working for whatever reason, CTE can help you in various ways to make sure that your document is accessible for everyone. So then let's see, what other kinds of content? So the other thing that we can do is add an existing assignment, discussion, quiz, those sorts of things, which we'll talk about more in just a second. So then if I go backwards and I do create new, if I go to an HTML page here, one, you can put anything you want in here. And if you give it a due date, that will have it show up in the calendar. So let's say Friday. One thing about due dates is it's really hard for students to tell when the day is flipping over. So I usually tend to make my due dates like say 11 p.m. and not necessarily 11:59, midnight, or 12:01, just to keep the day change out of the due date. Um, One of the things that we've added for this year is we have a new tool in D2L that's called Creator Plus. So if you browse for a template, then you can go into the public files and come down here and it says C plus. So all of these ones that say C plus, they're all different parts of Creator Plus. So I'm just going to choose this intro one and add that. So basically each Creator Plus template is giving you different structures to put your materials in. And if you want to know more about Creator Plus, I think we have some resources out there, and we also have some resources at the end of the slide deck. Do we put those in? I think. If you said something, I didn't hear you, but I'm going to assume that there's great wisdom behind what you said.
No, I said we're gonna have a session on Creator Plus later this afternoon.
Oh, cool. Awesome. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and save and close this. And then the next part is adding an assignment or a quiz to your course. So just under assessments, if you click on assignments, and just for, because I think they're fun and cool, we do have documentation for sure about video assignments. So if you want to know more about video assignments, we can definitely help you out with that. So new assignment is going to give you all of your options. So I'm just going to test one, and then this is where you would write instructions for student. You can also record audio and video if that's useful. And then I'm going to say that this is worth 10 points. It automatically puts it in the grade book. That's typically what people do unless they've got some weird scenario going on. And then it's going to ask you for a due date. So go ahead, and I'm going to go back to my standard 11 p.m. And then you've got some choices here. How many times are they allowed to submit? And then also evaluation and feedback. You have a choice. You can add a rubric here if you would prefer. And then also, I think that pretty much, yeah, that covers everything for this. So I'm going to save and close for that one. And then in terms of quizzes, it's very similar. So just a new quiz. We'll call this one test 2. And then again, I'll just say it is being evil and won't let me give it points. That's interesting. You're supposed to be able to, oh, there we go. So if it's in the grade book, then it will let you put the 10 points there. So 10 points in the grade book, and I'll make it due Friday at 11. And so you can set a time limit if you'd like. You can shuffle the questions, and then the number of attempts allowed. And then also, typically, if it's a multiple choice quiz, I would suggest that you auto-publish the results just to be fair to the students, because you're not actually giving them individual feedback on a multiple choice question. And then it's also important to realize, particularly if you choose to use Respond to Lockdown Browser, please, please, please give your students a practice test that's not worth anything so that they can get their system configured correctly. And it may even be worth doing if you're not using Respond, is just so that they can come in and take a test in D2L that's doesn't have a penalty associated with it. So when you get ready to add the questions, you can upload a file if you would like, or most people just do new question, and then it's going to ask you what kind of question you want to add. So are there any questions about content, or are there any specific questions on the gradebook piece? And I did want to show you what the grade book would look like. So this is the grade view. So you would come in here and you would enter how many points if you wanted to manually grade. And then there's also a setup wizard where it will ask you how you want the grades to be considered. I highly recommend the D2L line because the grade book is not my strong suit and they are awesome at it. So I can either give you 15 minutes back or however much time we have left. I can play the attendance video for you in the call if that's of interest, or I can take questions. Any preference? Anything to add, Leticia, that I might have forgotten to cover?
No, I think you covered everything. Let me check.
And can you put the slides in the chat for whoever comes back for this so that they can have the resources at the end?
Mhm.
Thank you. Okay, if that is everything for today, going once, going twice, have an awesome day and a great start to the semester.